Welcome everyone. Today is, let me just close the door. Today is October 19th, 2022. It is a Wednesday, I think. Yeah, Wednesday. So, yesterday we started a new drawing, which was Lisa. And we managed to finish the detailed sketch, right? The cleanup. Now we're gonna need to do the line art, which in and of itself is gonna take some time. And yeah, I'm still deciding whether or not I will do gradient mapping. Like, I really enjoyed how it looked on Amber. He looks a little bit different from Planari, but I might be able to do a sort of mix between both. So we're gonna see that. I just wanna see if Lisa has a last name because I couldn't find one. Mincy. Alright, Lisa Mincy. Alright. Kind of a cute last name. But yeah. We're gonna put both of these in a folder. We're gonna reduce their opacity. Let's see, is everything all mapped? No. The tablet is mapped to another screen. Let me just fix that real quick. There we go. All right, time to start working. So, Lineart. And we'll start with the slave. That is way too heavy. Thank you. We could start. Okay, so we're gonna apply the concepts that I've been learning recently, and so I will draw what's in front first. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna be a sort of meditation through it all. All right. Trying to think of the shape a rose, the rose's petals have. I can get away with that, but it does look more like crumbled paper than anything else. Let's do like this and paste the tip. Looks better. that. Good. Good. We will then increase the thickness of the line later on, so it won't be so much of a problem. It's okay. Again, I'm kind of spitballing in the folds. That's one thing that I need to study better. But I don't know if I have that written. I don't think I have. I will make a note. Just to remember where I have to study. Yeah. Because like I feel clothes folds are a thing that kind of clicks with you, right? Because everybody explains it pretty much the same way. It's like, oh, the fold follows the tension, the points of tension, right? Where the body is actually applying force, but it's like, to someone like me that is not used to it, that explanation is not very helpful, because that explanation comes from someone that already understands, right? You need an explanation to make people understand. That's how you understand it, but that's not how you should explain it. You know, that's the difference between those who know and those who don't know. At least in my opinion. But there's also the other aspect of it. Maybe you need that explanation that makes you struggle, because they got to the realization of how clothing folds work through similar explanations. So you probably will be able to get there as well, with a bit of a struggle, and you will have a similar understanding of it. So it's probably more a thing of thinking about it and while you're drawing it, which happens a lot with drawing in general. Like, you don't just mindlessly draw. You draw and you think about what you're drawing, right? And eventually you understand the underlying mechanics of it all, which is really cool. I mentioned this in a previous stream, the thing that I usually call the eureka moment, where there's a lot of gradual improvement, but there's also sudden improvement, right? Where a piece of the puzzle just falls into place, something that had been stumping you all along. Like, you find a corner piece of the puzzle, pretty much. So I was thinking if I should leave the fingers like this, or just do something like this instead, you know? Here has to be bigger though. Yo, Ricardo. Wait, you have a Fall Guys emote? Twitch global emote. Oh, okay. Everyone has that? I didn't know. Oh. What is up, my dude? Have you been watching any anime recently? Spike's family. Hmm. Yeah. I actually missed the premiere date, so when I went to watch it, episode 2 was already out. I got 2 episodes in one day, I guess. Like, this season's plot is insane. Holy shit. Like, it's been 3 episodes and we already have terrorist attacks and things like that. It's pretty heavy stuff. You're not liking it. Oh. Yeah. That feels weird. I certainly am enjoying it. There's like a lot more that we're learning. For instance, in the first season, we had in the opening we had a handler, the redhead woman that is like the chief of Wise, appear in the opening, even though it felt like she was a really underwhelming presence, right? But now, like, she has a lot more presence. They're building a lot on her story. Oh, My Hero. Okay. Ever since I started reading the manga, it's like I was a bit disappointed in the direction that it was going, and I was just like, all right, and I just stopped reading it altogether. So because it's really weird. They got a very compelling character that was Deku, you know, a hardworking kid that was given a chance, and it's like they kinda turned him into a Gary Stu, sort of. Like, I think the writing quality tanked a lot. Because, like, he doesn't need to have all of those powers, you know? Why have, like, 8 or 9 quirks? Doesn't matter. Maybe. I think it could have lasted as long as it is lasting if the writing was good. It's just they take some really how can I say it? They take very lazy approaches. Like for me, one of the best things was the Endeavor arc because it showed a lot of complexity, right? He is not a good person. Like the reason why he is a hero is not a good one, but he still protects people, and that makes him a very complex character, right? It's like I don't like him, but when he's on his job, I root for him to succeed. When he went against the Nomu, uh, it really showed that he's not a good person. You don't want him to die either, right? That is good writing, but everything else is pretty eh. But I think what really turned me off was watching the movies, because the movies from My Hero have incredible animation, but they're not canon, right? And they take a lot of creative liberties with the canon. They just, they just tick me off really hard. And I watched all three movies, and I don't know. The second one was kind of interesting. So, the music and everything in the second one, like the third one had no chance, no chance. It's like the movies are enjoyable in a vacuum, but if you add um, if you add the plot of this series, it's not so good. You know, like at the end of the second movie, spoiler alert for anyone that might be watching. At the end of the second movie, it's like, I gave the quirk to Bakugo, but it was an incomplete quirk, and it came back to me. And also Bakugo passed out, and he won't remember any of this. It's like there is nothing there, because you know there's not going to be any consequences, or else they would have to admit that the movie is canon, and that sucks. That's why I was very surprised when Demon Slayer did the canon movie, right? I mean, they also kind of like adapted it into episodes, but they did a movie that is canon, and they introduced and killed one of the pillars in that movie. Like, bruh, that takes some balls in an industry that doesn't like to make canon movies. More the movie than the episodes. Yeah, I think they did the pacing for the movie, and then they edited the episodes and added a few extra stuff to make more time for the arc. Yeah, exactly. It's the pace. The pace is the problem. Yeah. I'm gonna go for a smaller nose. Doing the mouth is always so complicated. Are you watching Chainsaw? Hell yeah, Chainsaw Man. I've already read the entire first part of the manga. I'm really enjoying the adaptation. There's gonna be like a few parts that they're not gonna adapt into the anime that are like not very necessary, honestly. But yeah, other than that, it's looking pretty decent. You know, the internet likes to overhype everything until they see it. It's like a lot of people were very used to seeing Rule 34 of Makima, and now that she's on screen, you know, flatter than a washboard, a lot of people were disappointed. And it's like, she was never that thick in the manga to begin with, so I don't know where they got that idea. And I never understood the appeal, like the sex appeal of Makima. I never understood it, right? Like from the get-go, it was obvious that it was an abusive relationship. Abusive, more toxic at the beginning, I guess. It later becomes abusive. It's like, you know, it's just Twitter things, I guess. Twitter's just a cesspool of degeneracy. The life is not hard enough for the internet. Yeah. Because that's the thing, right? With the manga, artists' renditions go kind of wild. And once the official art comes out and they see that the artist took a lot of creative liberty, they get kind of pissed. It's like, you guys, she was never thick to begin with. I needed reference for this. Shoulders. Wait, both shoulders? No. Well, I will not fucking draw it. I mean, I'm in a good position to draw it, but I need a good reference. Let me see. Because these images are horrendous. Okay, it's more symmetrical than I thought. Alright, that's not a problem. Let me just put this first. But Chainsaw is definitely worth it. It's just, it has a different approach to it, to storytelling. Well, not storytelling, like character development. It has a different approach to it, like, it's a good example of how your motivations can be vulgar, you know? And it's completely fine. Okay, we're gonna do like this. It's okay. And we're gonna have to like fucking. And I like that a lot. Because I'm kind of tired of like, oh, my motivation is to be the best, to save the world. Like, okay, man. Jesus. Cookie cutter character. You know, and Denji in that aspect is like much more real than most shonen protagonists. That's a thing that I've been seeing with a lot of stories that are being written recently. You better draw my Genshin wife good because I'm gonna copy. Lisa is your rifle? Because I'm gonna pass through every single Genshin character, but I didn't know that Lisa was your rifle. good thing about Chainsaw is the story concept. I don't know if they're gonna go with the same approach, but in the manga they kind of avoid explaining directly what is happening, you know, and you eventually get enough pieces to fully understand. It's really cool. Like, I remember reading them. I read the manga really fast, but I remember reading it and always be like trying to understand how that world works. Like, what exactly are the devils and things like that. And it's like a really, really cool structure to it all. I didn't play Genshin too much, so I only know they're... Yeah. Ember is already done. So... Just trying to see how I did the other side, because I'm kind of just drawing this one on the go. Yeah. My goal with this is like to improve a little bit on every character. Because for instance, I drew Tainari very early, right? And then I remember, you know, I should do this for every single Genshin character. So what's gonna happen is eventually I'm gonna draw Tainari again, and I wanna see what I learned from drawing all of these characters. It's a bit of a slow process, because really what I should be doing is like iterative learning, where I draw and redraw again the same concept with small changes to see what decisions are best. But I think for full characters that's fine. Also, I updated the prices on my Fiverr. I made them like super cheap, so like, wait, like this sketch right here is like $5, right? And it's just to get my work out there, so that people are not so reluctant on buying my stuff, and eventually I can say, oh, I'm doing commissions, and then I want to see if I can get it going through there. And like, clients could follow me on Twitter and things like that. It's like, until I reach Tainari again, exactly, higher pricing later on, but for now, much cheaper. But like, until I draw Tainari again, it's gonna take like a year, maybe. Because with Ember, I did have a few problems in terms of logistics, because I didn't have enough energy to stream. But it's like, I remember Tainari took me like 17 hours or so. So, right, that's like 4 days of streaming, maybe 5, depending on... At the time I was doing 4-hour streams mostly. So... to be smooth. That's true. It's true. It's a thing of rhythm. When I was recovering from the job, I had to do like 1 hour, and the next day I did 2 hours, and then I did 3 hours. Gradually increasing the size of it all, so that I could actually reach the end. Take it step by step. I'm also watching... Yeah, rest is important. I've been also watching Iruma-kun. I really enjoy that series. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. The show is really good, really entertaining. It's not super innovative, but the things that it does really well. I really enjoy it. Because it's kind of like what I was hoping Rosario Vampire would have been. But unfortunately, Rosario Vampire is just another harem anime with no good plot at all. Like, nothing happens in... Spoiler alert. Nothing happens for the entire show. And by the end, the main guy, who is a human is like fighting a vampire lord and going toe to toe, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? And he's also enrolled in a school of, I don't know if it's demons or monsters or whatever. I was like, okay, but Iruma-kun makes that like really much more interesting. It goes into the whole aspect of what changes when a school is full of demons instead of whatever Rosario Vampire was. Saving. Let's go. Okay. Also, I read a comic with the same scenario and I enjoy it. So I think I'm gonna just wait out. Just waiting to have a life and hoping to be able to see it. Waiting to have a life in order. Like what? You mean that you're too busy to see it? Oh yeah, sometimes that's a thing. There's actually a bunch of shows that are coming out now that I'm kind of excited to see. Like The Walking Dead is finishing up. It's gonna have 3 movies later, but for now it's finishing up. This series, like the main series, is ending, which is really cool because it's been around for so long. Rick and Morty is coming out. I still have to watch this week's episode. Like every single season now has like an incest episode. It's really weird. And there's another one that I'm watching, but most people probably won't watch that, which is the Owl House. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And like the show was canceled in a weird way, and instead of having like a third season of episodes, of like normal episodes, it has like I think it's 6 episodes of like 40 minutes each, and that's it. That's all they're gonna get, right? Which kind of sucks. The Owl House is really cool. Like, I definitely recommend it. They did a thing that I love, which is play with retro causality, which is basically like things in the future changing the past, which is kind of hard to write, but they did it really well, and it became a very important plot point later on. Really, really cool. And again, they have this very cool magic system going on. It's like super interesting. Whenever authors make good systems, it's like it just improves the story 1,000-fold. Not even joking. Like if Bleach wasn't so, the classic Bleach, because Bleach is coming out now, but the classic Bleach wasn't so repetitive, I think it would have been a lot better, because it also has a very good system. Like I follow a page on Facebook that like I don't know if it's bi-weekly or something, they post about the world of Bleach, and like there's so much to talk about, and every single one of their posts is huge, and it goes in super into detail on how things work. Right, that's cool. You can use a lot of it to explore how the world works. The main characters, everything in that world is a throw off for me. Yeah, that's I think I talked about that yesterday. The Gary Stew. I don't remember what was it about. I don't know if it was like Sword Art Online or something. I forgot. Sorry, I got up. I just went to get my jacket. But like, it's the power of fantasies, right? We were watching not watching, we were talking about the overflow of isekais, right? And there are a lot of isekais that are not very creative, very repetitive, and the main character is just an overpowered schmuck that like doesn't make for a compelling story. But I do have to say, like, I don't think Bleach is that way. Like, Bleach just gets repetitive. If they had said right from the get-go, Ichigo is a special case because he has a lot of moving parts around his heritage, right? That would be settled, and they wouldn't be introducing those concepts as it was necessary because it felt too convenient, right? Because he struggled a lot. He, like, he had to train really hard to get his Bankai. I think he wouldn't even win. It's just that the guy with the symbol in Sakura was impressed, I think. But I'm not sure if he won. That one. I think that's, at least that's how I remembered it. I might be wrong. But yeah. But there are a few things in Bleach that I wasn't too keen of. Like the final Getsuga Tensho requiring him to lose his powers, but he didn't lose his powers. It feels like a cop-out to me. Because there's one isekai that does this really well, of the protagonist being overpowered, but still not being untouchable. And that is Jobless Reincarnation. I think that anime is incredible at what it does. Right? Because obviously the main character has knowledge of how our world, or how his world works through science. And that's something that they don't have. Or if they do have, it's not as developed, right? And that gives him an edge over his adversaries, and he's really, really cool. Because, like, you still have to see him train. Yeah, Jobless Reincarnation is really good. But unfortunately, the second season ended. I think it was second season, right? Or the second core, something like that. Ended, and I want more. I gotta wait. And there were like a few scenes. They were like really good eye candy, like really well animated. Like even sparring matches of them just training, they were really good. And again, it's the whole Endeavor thing. Rudeo's father is not a good person, but you still don't want him to suffer more than what he already has, right? That's the thing that they make really well in that story. It's like the characters feel three-dimensional. A lot of anime, the characters don't feel three-dimensional at all. The reactions are very predictable, and that takes me off the experience completely, unfortunately. No, he is not as bad as Endeavor. Obviously not. But, you know, still bad, regardless. That is actually an old story. I mean, it might be, like, good stories are not just from nowadays, you know? There are plenty of good stories that are old, but never got adaptations. Yeah. Honestly, if I'm being... Okay. I'm being honest here, right? Sword Art Online is overhyped, right? Like, the story is not that deep. It's just a bunch of people stuck in a video game trying to it's a bunch of people stuck in a video game trying to finish the video game, right? And then some people are completely unhinged and want to kill other players. That's about it. But the thing is, with new seasons, it's like, how can you introduce those concepts without changing the world completely? You know? Like the movie Ordinal Scale, where you had devices that increase your physical capabilities. It's like, man. And Alice being a true AI, it's like, that would change everything. And they just shrug it off and think that Kirito swinging some swords is the most incredible thing. Like, not even close. Right? True AI would change everything. I have to, like... This might be better. I see. Yeah, it's overhyped, pretty much. But I do have to say they have some pretty sweet openings. Like, a thing that I enjoyed, but it was mostly due to visuals, was when in the Guns season, I think it's the 3rd season or something, Gun Gale Online, right? There's that scene where he starts to, like, parry every single bullet. That visually, that is amazing, right? Really spectacular. But it doesn't make any sense. Also, don't get me started on how in Alicization, they spent the entire show saying that Alice was only the 2nd strongest and Verkuli was the strongest. And you got to see Verkuli fighting once and he immediately got killed. It's like, bruh. Also, the motivations of the villain were shit. Like, I never understood the villain. So that was terrible. Overall, Alicization had a lot of potential and it just ended up in a dud. Yeah. That's it. It's fucked up, man. Berkuli had a lot of potential. And, like, not only that, but an amazing thing they did in Alicization, right? The monsters had personalities, right? It's not just mindless monsters. It's pretty much the same thing as humans, just with a different shape, right? With a different body type, whatever. That was really cool. Because they usually don't do that. Yeah. Exactly. They got an amazing concept and they did nothing with it. Like there's a Kirito that has like 200 years of memories and they did nothing with that. And now I'm just like I don't give a shit about normal Kirito. I want to know how he turned out after 200 years, right? And nothing.
I need some music.
And I remember now, Kirito will be back in a movie and just get killed by the normal Kirito. Maybe. Maybe. I wouldn't put past the writers at this point. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta put Kirito against Kirito, I guess. Because that's the only thing that is gonna sell now. But it's like there's so much that could have been done. The writing could have been so much better. Like you're gonna tell me, right? This is in the second part of the first season, the Alfheim stuff, right? You're gonna tell me that Kirito only had access to dev controls in that room? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, if the devs don't have access to the entire game anywhere in the game, there could be places where they could not correct stuff, right? It's like, I like the blonde Kirito more than the original. Blonde Kirito? Oh, the... fuck, his partner, I forgot the name. Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah. Or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, he's gonna defeat you with the heart of the cards. No, but the thing that I'm saying is like, even if, yeah, but the thing is, right, he changed account in the middle of it. He could have done that anywhere else. He just wasted everyone, like, the entire story of that season is absolutely redundant. Because he could have changed accounts anywhere he wanted, right? They didn't explain that part. Because all he did was changing accounts that gave him power-ups, right? And he finished it pretty quickly. If he couldn't, they didn't explain that in the show because the account changing shit was like an ex machina. Not even joking. Like, because they didn't explain anything, right? It literally felt like that meme of hacks mode on. A new one created in the real world. Yeah, but he was supposedly the creator of SAO, right? That guy is dead. So, mm. But like, that's a thing that also doesn't make sense. Because what, like, literally what could have happened was he would go to the trouble of getting into that room and die. Right? Because one thing is not related to the other. If they give him a new account with all of the features or access to all of the features, just because someone gave him a new account, that has nothing to do with the entire story of the season. That is why I'm saying the writing is not good. It, like, the solution for the season has nothing to do with the entire season. That's the whole thing. Everything that you saw in those episodes doesn't matter. Because if they gave him a new account, whatever or whoever they are, he could have just simply just sit on his ass. You would get a new account anyway. And you would have been able to get into the room like that. Right? There's nothing. So the entire season is pretty much inconsequential. Are we sure we're talking about the same thing? I'm talking about Alfheim, not Elicization. Okay? I'm talking about Alfheim. Like, AI wasn't even a thing back then. AI is just Elicization. Alfheim is the second part of the first season. There's no AI there. Analyzation is weird because it's like the power of visualization, and if you believe hard enough, you can do it. Well, fuck it then, right? That is like just saying Kirito does it because he believes more than the antagonist, I guess. I'm just like, Yeah, pretty much. Power of imagination and friendship. It's, I don't know. It's just got into such an interesting topic and shit the bed. Pretty much. It's frustrating. Because I don't want to watch it, but they start doing really good stuff, and then they shit the bed again. Alicization started really well, and they fucking do it. Yep. Yep, that motherfucker. Therapists hate him. It's like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair, my brain is fried. I'm just gonna use my imagination powers and imagine a new brain or something. Like, there's no consequence for anything. It is amazing. It's amazing how shitty the writing can become. Holy fuck, dude. God damn. No. That's too much. 6. It's gonna be good. Yeah. It's fucking insane. All I know is that next year there's gonna be an Hibike Euphonium movie, and in 2024 there's gonna be the 3rd season. It's gonna be fucking insane. I love it. I was actually afraid that I wouldn't be getting a 3rd season because of the arson in Kyoto Animation, but they are getting back together, stronger than ever before. Fuck yeah, dude. It's really interesting how Kyoto Animation did Hibike Euphonium, but they also did K-On! And it's both anime are about high school girls in music clubs, but they are so different. Is it from the Ashes? Yeah, definitely. It was fucking insane. Like, especially right after they got famous for their Violet Evergarden work. Like, even a person that says that they don't enjoy animation, like, I think Violet Evergarden would convert a lot of people. Holy crap. Visually, narratively, that is really good work. And that's the sort of thing that gets me thinking, like, you don't have to make a groundbreaking anime, right? You don't have to revolutionize everything, right? Iruma-kun is the example of it. It is not groundbreaking, but it is entertaining, right? And I feel like so many anime just are not entertaining. That might be a thing of opinion, right? And I might be a little bit clouded in judgment. I feel like it has some truth to it, where they just follow templates. And yeah, the anime is done, it makes sense, but it's not entertaining. Yeah. I fucking remember when X-Arm was like uh just saying it's gonna be the greatest new thing, and it became like one of the worst rated anime ever. It was so funny. Like, it would have probably flown under the radar if it didn't advertise itself as being really good, but they just had to fucking say it. Because the animators that worked on it are probably like blacklisted now due to that fucking shenanigan. There's like a lot of popular anime can get away with shitty animation or even shitty drawings. Like the Sailor Moon Crystal, if you pay attention to the characters when they're on the background, they are really derpy, right? But even Sailor Moon can get away with that. So, just gotta be a little bit humble about it. It's gonna be the best new thing. I think it just completely shit the bed. Anime industry needs to step back and release things slower and well. Definitely. Like, everybody enjoyed Elden Ring, you know? It's like, don't overhype it. People tend to overhype it, but don't market yourself in an overhyping way. If you need more time, you need more time. Fuck it, you know? People will get it when it's done. If they don't like it, they can go suck it. And, yeah. Same thing with, like, Cyberpunk. Like, the game is playable now, but I think people should remember what it was when it came out. It's a complete disaster. And they're only playing it now because there was an anime. If there wasn't an anime, they wouldn't play it at all. Yeah. I mean, partially it was because of the names that were working in that game. But it's like, you don't need much. You don't need much to sell well. Like, remember Among Us? Sus? But like, Among Us was out for like 3 years. It was a solid game. It was picked up and people were enjoying it. And instead of making Among Us 2, they just updated the game. Right? And that's it. That's literally all you have to do. Also, I forgot to draw this one. But that's all you had to do. It's fucking insane to me. Like, the audacity of selling a game that is incomplete, filled to the brim with bugs and things like that. Yeah, yeah, it was a flop release. But it's like they kept the game, you know. Like sometimes you need to know that your game is solid, even though the release is not an astronomical banger, you know. There are plenty of good games out there that are noticed very late, and that's completely fine. So many people do things to chase the bag. Don't do that. Do things that because you enjoy doing them. And the developers for Among Us did it because they enjoyed it. It's true that they got lucky, right? Luck is part of the whole thing, but overall, if they didn't go ahead and lasted the 3 years of no success, it wouldn't have happened. It's that thing of preparation and opportunity. The preparation was just holding out, and the opportunity came. Sometimes it doesn't come, but you need to be prepared. Because if the opportunity shows up but you're not in condition, you will not get anything. You will only get things if you are prepared. Forgetting about a game, working in another, and in the middle of the development, the previous game starts doing millions. Yeah. You know, it is what it is, you know. Yeah. Like the thing of a game making millions after you already moved on to something else. That reminds me of an effect that happens in YouTube. And that is like the more videos you have, obviously you need to put quality work. It's not just the quantity, but the more videos you have, the more likely it is for one of those videos to become viral, right? Or like really recommended. So what tends to happen sometimes is a recent video of yours is not that good, but all of a sudden one of your older videos starts to being recommended to everyone and their mothers, right? Then all of a sudden you start getting traction for something you did a long time ago that didn't work at the time but is working now. That happens like a lot more, that is a lot more common than one might think. I need 1 or 2 more years. You need 1 or 2 more years, or the game needed 1 or 2 more years? Because I think the game needed more time than that. I'm being completely honest. Yeah. As it is right now, it needs 2 more years, I think. Because it's like when GTA 6 got leaked, right? We were seeing like a very, very early version of an alpha, and it's the end of 2022. Let me see. GTA 5 release date. It released in 2013. It has been 9 years since GTA 5 came out. Right? And 6 is at an early alpha. We might only see the game in like 2025. Maybe even later than that. Right? We might have to wait from 2013, right? Like, GTA 6 might take 15 years after GTA 5. Exactly, it's early dev videos, like, it's not that it's bad, it's hard to judge anything. There's nothing there to judge. Hey, what's up, gamers? People, we were talking about, how things sometimes need time in order to reach what we could call success, right? We were talking about how Cyberpunk, when it came out, was absolute dog shit. Vintage, yes. No, we were talking about how Cyberpunk, when it came out, was absolute dog shit. Then the anime came out, and now people want to play it. Yes, No Man's Sky. I watched the Internet Historian's video about it. It is incredible. Like, the game now is pretty much better than what was promised in every way. It's a pretty good game. But it's like, the point that we were making is that you need more time in development before it comes out, because it failed with Cyberpunk, it worked with No Man's Sky, but people really shouldn't be launching games incomplete, right? Like, we were talking about GTA 6 and how there was a leak of early versions, like early alpha versions. And what I was saying when you joined was that it's like impossible to judge the quality of the game from the leaks, right? It's early alpha. It's like, it's just a functional skeleton to add everything. This is a trend now, unfortunately, since Kickstarter and then early access games. Yeah, it is terrible. And it's like, Kickstarter sounds like such a good thing to develop games, but at the same time, it sounds like such a good way of scamming people. I've seen it time and time again. Kickstarters of people just taking large amounts of money for a project that seems really cool, then don't develop the project and just run with the money. It pains me, right? It's just like, there was a tweet that I saw that was really interesting about this. The early version of GTA 6, right, was leaked, obviously, and then they showed an alpha version of Spider-Man, the most recent game. Not the Miles Morales, the first one for PS5, right? And it was also shit. It was a bunch of it's not rectangles. It was a bunch of prisms on the floor representing the buildings, right? The character was not really anything special. It was just like a really basic model. And it was just to test the web swinging feature, and that was it. Alpha. About that game in Kickstarter that made millions and not even a clip of the game they have. Oh, I think I saw something about that. Yeah, they were like promising a lot of shit, and then they were forced to make a clip, and once they made the clip, everyone that gave money saw that they were being scammed, And there was a bunch of controversy around it. I think I saw that. Like, it was really bad. It's like, just take your goddamn fucking time. What is it? What is the problem? Like, you're creating something. Take your time. Right? They even have ships sold by millions, and not even the model of the ship in game was made. Jesus fucking Christ. That sounds like NFT shit. Not gonna lie. Oh, Star Citizen! Yeah, Star Citizen. I was thinking about something else. Yeah, Star Citizen. The game is not even out yet, and like, people paying... I mean, I think now there is a bit of gameplay. But it's like super rudimentary stuff. And people have already spent so much fucking money. Oh, Lord. It's like, you don't have anything to do with your money. Give the money to me. Give the money to me. I will be happy. You will be happy that you made me happy, right? It's way more productive than putting it in a fucking video game. Give me the money. You know? Why spend that money in buying just a bunch of ones and zeros that contribute nothing to your life and immediately lose their value? And not give me the money to buy physical chicken nuggets so that I can taste their material deliciousness. Alright? Much more productive. Give me the money. The Unreal Engine demo scene, but in space. Oh, really? What the fuck? I gotta see this. Oh shit, if that is true... It's a bunch of gameplay videos, but they're taking their sweet time. I need like a small video. Fuck's sake, every single video is like 14 minutes and up. Holy. $500 million in funding. What the fuck? What are they doing with $500 million? Holy shit. $500 million. What? No fucking way. I need to see the new one because I only saw one on starting project in Unreal. Like, people are absolutely crazy for these type of things. What the hell? A group role-playing breaking out of jail or something. Huh. But you know what would be better than role-playing breaking out of a jail? Actually breaking out of a space jail. That would be better. I'm sure they have enough money to develop that. $500 million. What the fuck? That is insane. Damn, I love how in this video there's like a section that is called To the Point. It takes 9 minutes. I'm already watching it at 2 times speed. And it starts with an intro. Dude, that's not the point. You are still... Fuck's sake. To me, the problem with Star Citizen is that they're explaining a few things. Like, it requires a lot of high specs to play that, which already limits your player base, right? Like, sure, obviously the whales that spend money on the game will have money to be able to play the game. But it's like, the game won't be populated, so it won't be enjoyable. Like, if you don't have the free-to-play players, or at least the players that can only afford a little bit playing it to populate it, the game will go to shit. Like, you cannot make a massively funded video game for a few dozen people that can actually afford it. I don't know, like, at the very least, it feels like a marketing flop. Right? I don't know. And it's like, so many people insist nowadays of like, oh, this game requires a computer that has 69 terashits per 420 terafarts. And it's like, nobody cares about that. Nobody fucking cares about that. Okay? Undertale is a pixel art game. It doesn't require heavy specs to play it. It's still a fantastic game. Like Half-Life, fantastic game, right? I actually don't know about the specs that are required to play Minecraft nowadays. I think they might have increased a lot. But still, like, if you play with everything turned off, you will probably be able to play Minecraft more or less decently. And it has, like, infinite playability. Star Citizen looks to be an abuse of the success of EVE Online. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, EVE Online is also a thing that exists that is very similar, right? But the thing is, like, I feel EVE Online, you can play with very little money. I don't know if the game is free. But you can play with very little money and over time spend more money. In Star Citizen, it just feels like it's like, spend money on this game. Buy ships with real money. And it's like, why? Why in the fuck would I mess with the game that is so openly advertised as pay to win? Like, at least trap the player first. I don't know. It's my opinion. I might be completely wrong about that, but... But isn't EVE Online 3D? I thought it was. Free space free? Wait, is it really free? Okay, gameplay video. Dude, EVE is 3D. No, dude, look at this. Look at this. This shit is 3D. If the game is like this is 3D. Right? Like, what could Star Citizen offer that EVE is not already offering and allows you to play for free? I really don't know what Star Citizen is like marketing towards, because that doesn't seem to be anything specifically for that. Like, if you want to get rid of money, I've said it before, man, give the money to me. I will get rid of your money. And yeah. Much more efficiently. Also, I completely forgot about mentioning this. People, yesterday, I did something very special. I watched the first 2 episodes of Devs, and the show is goddamn incredible. I love it. I love it. I have only one complaint. Sometimes the music is too loud, but that's about it. The story is incredible. The characters, oh, amazing. The music itself is really good as well. It's just they could have mastered it a little bit better. But it really builds up that mood, and I thought it was really interesting that the Anton, the Russian, plays Hannah Baker's father in 13 Reasons Why, right? So I was watching the second episode, and I saw the actor show up, and I just started cackling, like imagining the 13 Reasons Why is such an unhinged show, and Devs. Oh god. But I really like it. I really like it. It lifts like really good questions about the nature of reality and things like that. I want to see how it's gonna deal with that. But I can't help but think that I forgot his name, but like the guy with the beard that is responsible for the whole company, pretty much. It's like the way he acts and the decisions that he takes, it's so much like an asshole, right? So Sergey talked about the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and it's just like, oh yeah, I don't really believe in that, and it's like, that's not how it fucking works. Right? This is not proof by not believing in it, right? If you don't have a proof, you gotta admit that it's a possibility. Jesus Christ. Which is actually relevant. Jesus Christ is relevant for the show. I was actually really impressed with how they presented it. Because you can see that shot of the blonde woman looking at the camera and the reflection of what was on the screen, the cross, behind her. So it looked like she was on the cross. So I think something is gonna happen to her. Oh, dude, cinematography is incredible. Like, there's so many shots that are like, ah, you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. God. I got it. I got it. Nice. But the show reminded me of there was an experiment. It's like it was nothing too serious, but it was an experiment that some programmers were doing, which was like developing a language, a programming language that was the main goal was like eventually simulating the macroscopic scale of human behavior, like social behavior, economic behavior, and things like that. And it was like interesting because it reminded me a lot of what was happening in devs. But there's like a lot of speak in the show that is like, oh, the universe is deterministic. And I'm just like, that's a yikes for me, dog. That's a yikes from me. Cause, it's a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit more complicated than that. Like, from what we know so far, right? The universe has a limit in its smallest dimensions, which means you could technically represent it as a set of points, right? Which is basically like the Planck time and the Planck scale. But you also have indeterminations, you have superpositions, and that is basically randomness, which kind of goes against the definition of the deterministic universe. So there are certain situations where I think a deterministic approach wouldn't be good. It would probably flop. Yeah, but regardless of what I think, the show is really, really good. I really enjoy it. Like, I wasn't expecting to take that turn. Like, I thought the company planted an app to make it seem like Sergey was a spy, right? So that it would clean up after any suspicions. And like Sergey wouldn't actually be a spy, he was just trying to take some code out so that it could tell people what was happening inside of the cube instead of just being a spy. But this is also an interesting road to take on the story. I'm gonna see it a bit more, maybe today in the afternoon or something. Because it's really good, it's really good. Like, I was planning on only watching one episode, but it was so good that I had to watch at least another one. But yeah, the existential questions are definitely there. What I'm assuming is like the bearded guy. I'm terrible with names in shows. But the bearded guy probably wants to like recover his daughter in some capacity, right? Like to be able to simulate his daughter to quote unquote bring her back to life. I think that's where the show is going. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went in a more insidious path. Also, the whole thing with the fake footage camera stuff, the CCTV thing, like they simulated it. That was interesting. But it's really, really good. I had heard of it. I had seen promo material for it, but it was one of those things that I didn't watch it at the time, and I completely forgot it existed. But you know, thank God you told me, because I didn't want to lose out on this gem. This one's a bit weird. Do it like that. Yeah. Like a lot of the philosophical questions, like for the story to move, I understand that they have to make some assumptions so that there is an actual story. Because the major problem of philosophy is that most of the time philosophers aren't doing much. Because it's really hard to come up with an answer for the questions that they pose. So, I kind of understand the limitations on that. But really, really good show. Really good show. Solid start. I gotta see where it goes. By the way, is it supposed to have a season 2, or will the story finish within this season? Because if you tell me that it ends in a cliffhanger, oh, thank God it finishes. Great. All the more motivation for me to finish watching it. You know, side note, we need more stories that have a very limited number of seasons, if not just one season, alright? Gravity Falls only has 2 seasons, it's incredible. We need more short series. Yeah, mini-series. It's so good. It's so good. Like, come on, man. The story is tightly knit. It doesn't take too long to watch everything. It's not like The Walking Dead where you have 11 seasons, a gabillion spin-offs. After the series ends, you're gonna have 3 movies. Like, you watch like 10 episodes and it's done. You're free. Yeah. Sleepiness got hands. Also, I think I made her have larger breasts than she actually has. Or no, let me see. I actually don't think so. I think that's just made them look less ridiculous. Because they look like two water balloons. But here, they don't look like that. God damn it. So sleepy. Man, spoken like a true Coomer. Nice. What a brave soldier. Like this and like that. Very good. This. Am I really listening to Running Up That Hill remixed? Goddamn. Also, another thing, right? Completely reminded myself just now. Stranger Things has 4 seasons. I don't know why. I had the idea that the 4th season would be the last, but apparently there's going to be more. I don't know if it's going to be like a 5th season or a movie or something. But it's like, they cannot stop milking that franchise. Like, stop. Jesus. Tell the story and leave. I cannot possibly be the only one that thinks like this, right? Just tell the story and leave. God fucking damn it. It's like, it's just like Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter had the 7 books, or 8 movies, because the last one was divided in 2, right? The story was told. J.K. Rowling, all she had to do was not fucking touch the franchise anymore. She kept tinkering with it, and now we have Fantastic Beasts, which by itself wouldn't be a bad thing, right? It's a good spin-off of sorts. But it just increases the odds of fucking it up. Oh, dude, Netflix is gonna tank. Netflix is gonna tank. I read an article the other day. So they're thinking of implementing a cheaper service by displaying ads, right? That doesn't exist in Portugal. They're not planning on putting that in Portugal, right? There's a bunch of countries that are not going to have that option. So it's like the normal service is already shit because most of the series nobody cares, and the cheaper one is not even available in countries where it would be useful. So it's like, I don't know what executive decisions they're taking. I remembered another thing that I wanted to talk about today. When I was having breakfast, I was looking at the news, and people, this is for you. In the news, they were talking about the risk of flood in I think it's southeastern Australia. Like, are things bad there? Because it's been raining quite a long time here, but I don't know how bad things could be in Australia. I mean, it's a big country, so if you're not there, you might be completely fine. But I've seen people like making walls with sandbags. It's supposed to be better around where I am soon. Yeah, because I've seen entire communities making like walls with sandbags to stop the impending flood. Yeah, that shit seems to be pretty bad around there. I say around there, but Australia is huge. Like, southeast might be flooding and northwest might be completely fine. But yeah. Yeah, street. The houses on either side were on a hill. The houses on either side were on a hill. So you're trying to say that they were on higher ground? It would always flood the street. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. The house is on higher ground, so the street is on lower. Yeah, that. Yep. Yeah, we have a thing. Like, I have a thing in my town. Oh shit. Like, in my town, right? There's a thing where, imagine, you have the center of the city, and there's like a river that passes right through the middle, right? And the way this thing works is really weird, right? There's this thing that most people don't even notice is there, where density. It's not density, it's like opacity or whatever. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, right. It's like this is lower and this is higher. Right? And the river floods everything that is red if it rains too much. Now, in the past, there hasn't been a lot of heavy floods, thankfully. But there are photos of like 20 years ago. It was pretty fucking bad. Like, the river grew, like, I want to say 5 meters in height, and it managed to get everywhere. It was insane. It was really fucking bad. And not only that, but like, thankfully my street now is different, but a few years ago my street used to be made of stone, like, hand placed stones, which is good for making cars travel slower, but it's terrible when it comes to floods. man, every time that it rained, the street would be completely flooded. Where there's a massive flood channel in the middle, so everything is redirected to it. Thank God. Thank God. Because there was one time, it was a school day, right? And the street was flooded. And I kid you not, I went, like, my school, at the time, my high school is very close to my house, right? At the time, I went to school barefoot. I'm not even shitting. I took my shoes in a bag and I went to school barefoot just to be able to cross the flooded street. Yeah. That only happened once, luckily. But it felt so surreal. But you know what? You know those boomers, they like to say, oh, back in my day, we like to climb mountains and traverse rivers. I actually did that. So they cannot use that against me. I did that to get to school. If I ever have children, I'm gonna tell them. I used to walk barefoot in the water to get to school. So yeah. Nobody can stop me, dude. But honestly, if I'm like in that situation, I would rather not go to school and just use it as an excuse, like, oh, I can't get to my high school that is like 100 meters away because my street is flooded. Right? I've always been a lazy piece of work. But you know, even with those conditions, my mom was like, you have to go to school. You have to. Ah, parents. What would we be without them? Ugh. Man, the world could be ending, but we have to go to school. We have to go to school. Right? There's just one thing that I wish happened here, but it doesn't happen because it's too warm for that. It never snows here. And that kind of sucks. Because the only time I've seen snow, I was too young to actually remember. And it wasn't here. We had to go to a very specific place to actually see snow. Ah, man. That sucks. World ending, but you still need to learn it in case you survive. Not even in the mountains. Yeah, there's a specific. There are specific places in the mountains where it snows, but most places in our territory doesn't snow. Like if it snows outside of specific tall mountains, it's like a very rare event because our country is very warm. Like a lot of tourist ads are like, our country has 2/3 of its entire year sunny days, you know, things like that. And while it's true, sometimes snow would be cool, you know, just saying. But it does come with its problems, like you would have to clean roads and roofs, so it's not all snowmans and whatever the fuck people do when it snows. I don't know because it never snows. Yeah. You're paying for your schooling, so you have to make use of it. But the thing is, here, most of the expenses related to school don't exist, right? Like, education is free until you're 12, until you're in the 12th grade. Like, your entire education is free. In my time, we used to pay for the books, but now the government changed the rules, and now you don't even have to pay for the books. Right? If you don't have conditions, you can have your meals for free as well. So, like, meals, books, and whatever, right? You can literally have your child's education for free here. Because everything is supported by taxes. So it's like, they're not even directly paying for it. They're indirectly paying for it. I actually don't know, like, is Australia as a capitalist society as the United States are? Or are you, like, more tame in that aspect? Because the United States feel like a fucking nightmare. It's cheaper than America. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe Melbourne and Sydney might be a little bit expensive. But you have a lot of options. Yeah, at least that. Options is always good. I think it's good. I might do something like this. Separate the hat from the hand. Okay, I'm learning something new here. Good. Yeah, it feels more defined here. Yeah. It's like, in here, there's a lot of stuff that you kind of have right to because it comes from taxes, right? It's like education comes from taxes, public health is, well, it's not completely free, but it's very cost reduced because of taxes, albeit due to, like, Portugal's government is one of the most corrupt in the world, and everyone here knows that. So unfortunately, there's a lot of taxpayer money that goes completely down the drain, which fucking sucks because then structures start to collapse due to that. Yeah. But in an ideal world, where we at least don't have as much corruption, I'm not even like saying no corruption, we just need less of it. You know, things would be great. Things would be great. Because taxpayer money are constantly plugging holes in banks and huge schemes, huge financial schemes. It's terrible. There's no other way around it. It's terrible. So unfortunate. Oh, dude, I remember that one time. I don't know if this was like before COVID or during COVID, where Australia was having like a gigantic fire, right? Everything was on a fucking fire, and your prime minister just decides to go on vacation to Hawaii. I remember that shit, dude. Oh, that was so, like, don't get this out of context, right? That was so funny, and at the same time so fucked. What the hell? It's like, it's situations like those that make me think, like, why the fuck is a prime minister or a president having vacations? The country doesn't fucking stop, right? And if the country runs with a prime minister or a president in vacations, it just means that it can run without those people. I'm sorry, but for the term that you were elected, you're not gonna have vacations. Fuck you. Alright? Do your job. If you don't like it, don't apply for that. Don't campaign for that. Like, you know what I mean? Fucking vacations for presidents. You gotta be kidding me. Especially when in a lot of places they get like lifetime retirement. Like, I know that is a thing here, at least. Once you become a president or someone that works in the parliament and things like that, you get like lifetime retirement. And like some of them only practice how to sit their fat ass down, nothing else, like no contribution at all, but for some reason they have huge pensions. Like, bruh. I cannot take that seriously. I just can't. this part. I hate plants so much. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to study flowers a little bit. Because the biggest issue is like drawing them without reference, I think. Yeah, it gets really complicated really fast. There's probably like formulas, patterns to follow when you're drawing this, but I kind of forget it quickly because I don't usually draw flowers. But yeah, that whole going to vacation when everything is on fire is like really just a bitch slap in every Australian face. Jesus. It was forecast years in advance. Oh, the catastrophic fire season. I mean, yeah, depending on the conditions, because like in here is pretty much the same situation. Like we know that the droughts are getting worse. The heat is getting worse. We are not taking care of the fields. Like we're not cleaning the fields. So there's a lot of material that can very quickly catch on fire, right? We know that we are basically setting up the conditions for really tough fires. But like nobody fucking does anything about it. It is insane. Like I heard from people that own fields, right? Like small patches of forest. They say that it is cheaper to pay the fine for not cleaning the field than it is to actually clean it. So like, yeah, with things like that, of course people are not going to want to clean their fields. They don't care about the fires. If anything, it's more motivation because then they can get like insurance stuff. Yeah. Also, I've seen people in Australia do this thing where you guys have like the spider season, right? I don't know if that happens in like the entirety of Australia, but like everything is covered in webs, and I've seen people setting those webs on fire, and basically you would see like this sea of flames just consuming everything. Like it was very satisfying, but if it was in a more dry place, it would have probably caused a huge fire. Thank goodness, honestly, because it would be pretty scary knowing that there are so many spiders that they could cover all of it that quickly. Yeah, like for 2 hours and a half, more or less. So after the line wait, I am not gonna like do anything else today. In terms of this piece, obviously. I'm gonna do so much more. I have like Japanese study, I have anatomy study. I've been postponing anatomy study for a while, and I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. If I want to like improve my work, I gotta study anatomy. Ooh, yikes. In fact, I should, like, we should study it daily. But I'm so lazy. Even if it's like just some gestural sketches, you know, just to keep the rust off. Also, I forgot a line here. I think, right? Yeah. But okay. At least it's good to know that for now you are okay. You know, the floods haven't hit you yet. If tomorrow you show up again, I will confer with you again. Some scary shit floods. Like, it looks, oh, it's just water. Yeah, water packs a punch, dude. Water got hands, you know? It is terrifying. Sorry. So I think for this piece, I'm still gonna like fiddle a little bit with the whole painting process. Because with Jean, we went, with Dainari, we went flat. We painted the flat shadows. Then we just rendered a little bit with the airbrush after everything was like pretty much set. With Jean, we went more, or we went harder on the airbrush, and I didn't really like how it turned out. And with Amber, we went with gradient maps. There was an idea that I got, which was painting everything in values again, but reserving a specific value for the Terminator, and gradient map everything in flat colors, and then render on top of that. That might be a little bit too much work, but I gotta see how I deal with that. Either way, like, every day after the stream, I do a little bit of research to see if I can find like new approaches to the pieces. Cause like I wanna see you paint with outline work. Oh, dude, that's terrible. Don't even ask me that. It's gonna be like 3 weeks of me rendering the character. Do you really want to go through that? Yes, he did today. Let me see. Oh, this is interesting. That's really good. Is this like charcoal? Because I can't really tell the material. Or a charcoal brush. It might be like digital. Just noticed that now. Yeah, it's digital. It's like a brush mimicking. Yeah. Alright. No, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. It reminds me of the times where I would do charcoal studies, and would basically the teacher would be like, you have to paint the entire sheet black, and you will paint the volumes by removing the black, right? And it was really cool to see, like, it changes how you think about the pieces. No reference. No. But it's even better. Jesus. No reference. Really, really good. Did I mean to study like that? Yeah. It really flips everything upside down, because you get used to working in an additive sense, and then you become you go through this subtractive thought process of it all. Yeah. In a sense, like everything can be sculpting, you know? Like you're doing a line and then you can start to sculpt the line. Right? You can start to sculpt a line. And like a lot of artists actually take advantage of this. Right? Like you see the quality of this line. There are a lot of artists that do line art like this. They do like really thick line, and then they go and start erasing it, right? And they even go like this, and it gives a completely different character to it. And it's different than doing this. Like this is, I think this is almost universally thought as being very shitty, because it brings a lot of noise. Like it has to be something very specific that you're going for if you want to work like that. Not 6, 5. Like it can work, but it's very specific, right? It's that thing. There's no absolute rules in art, so it can work, but it probably won't. But yeah, the study looks amazing. I like the next step, if you wanted to like continue it, would be to push the values. Like the whites become whiter and the blacks become blacker. But it's okay for like the initial rendering of it all, you know. Even some artists go for a more washed look, so it really depends on what you're going, because if you do a very washed like only midtones, right? It says something about the quality of the light. For instance, in a cloudy day, since the sun is not hitting directly the floor, there are no hard cast shadows, right? So the specific look for a cloudy day is pretty much everything is midtones. So this study that you showed tells me that the light could possibly be overcast. Exactly, overcast. And it even works because you added these small lines. So it looks like it's raining, right? Just from that. But of course, this is like the observation of the piece, and when you start to put everything together, you might end up with a message that is different from the intention of the author. In this case, you, right? If your intention was to make a harder light, then obviously my conclusion would be different from what you wanted. But like the way it is, it works. You just need to know what you want to do. But I do think it's really good. Communicates shapes really well. And again, there's a thing that I really like how you do this. You always define the focal point more than the rest of the piece, right? The face, because the works that you show me are usually portraits, right? The face is usually very defined, it attracts the eye, and then there's like the hand where you don't need to see the whole detail of the hand. You just need to understand that it's the hand, and you don't need to see like every pore in the fingers. So that is also really smart. It saves time, and it gives a little bit of focus to the piece. It guides the eye. So that is working smart. Yeah. Yeah. You try. We all try. We all try. It's a question of doing it, looking at it critically. Sometimes that needs to have the opinion of a second or third person, as sometimes it's hard to evaluate our own work, you know? And obviously we also need to filter the criticism that is given to us. Not every single piece of criticism is valid. Sometimes that's hard. Like it's already hard to take criticism sometimes, but it's also hard to filter the criticism in a somewhat unbiased way, right? Because like there are some criticisms that will not work. Maybe because it's a style that you choose. We need to be very careful with that whole it's a style, you know? Because some people fall into that trap of is the style that I was going for. Man, okay, but I don't really think that making egregious anatomy errors is a style. I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm talking about theoretical case, right? Like I don't think having 6 fingers in one hand is a style. Talking about anime artists, artists in general, actually. But there are a lot of anime artists that have problems because they jump into anime without studying the realism first. I think every single artist should start with the realism and eventually branch to whatever they want. Because there's a lot of problems that could be avoided if you actually understood what the fuck you're doing. If you're gonna do anime and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do the face like a circle, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and this, that, like this helps, obviously. But you might not understand why this helps, right? You memorize the formula, and that's it, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna cut it here, and the half is gonna be the eye, it's gonna be the eyebrow. It's like, man, there are a lot of things that you need to understand. Because, like, the face does this, right? Right, this part that we just cut is sort of like a circle because there's a muscle here that goes under. Like this goes like this, and the muscle goes under and connects to the jaw pretty much. That's why when we chew, we can see this part contracting. But people don't know why they cut this. Right? Why is it not a circle? You gotta cut that shit, right? Why is there two lines here? Because the brow line is the one that is staying the further out. And you gotta go in for the eye sockets, which kind of actually work like that, right? But the nose goes in here and then goes back out. And like, if they don't study those things, they memorize those basic formulas, and it's gonna work so badly for them. Right? And then we are all cursed to see the shitty how to draw anime books. I've seen a few of those on sale in a few libraries, and Jesus. It's like, just study realism, man. You don't like it? That's not my problem. You gotta study realism in order to understand the thing that you're simplifying. How the fuck are you gonna simplify something that you don't understand? Right? At least that's how I think. You cannot simplify something that you do not understand. You cannot take a shortcut from a route that you never did before. You do the hard work first, and then you do the smart work later. So that you know what's so smart about it. Or else it's just useless. So, I think in terms of line weight is pretty much done. I might add a few things here and there. Like here. I just fucking know. I'm gonna have so much trouble with the face. It's not even real. But I'm also gonna keep the sketch because there are a few things like here, and I know there's like in the glove here and oh, actually drew that one. Okay, I'm gonna draw this one. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. There's a few details here that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them. The hat has details that I'm not going to draw here. Yeah. I think that's about it. Might do like this. Yeah. So yeah, Lineart is done. Mostly. There's gonna be a few things here and there that I might want to like adjust. But yeah, I would consider it pretty much done at this point. Now, I'm not gonna start shading or coloring or whatever. I'm gonna leave it for tomorrow. Yeah. I am pretty satisfied with this. This was a bit unfortunate because it makes the leg look a bit weird in terms of volume, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I think I might go with Tainari's method because I really enjoy how that looks. And yeah, that is it for today. I want to thank everyone that joined me, both on the stream and anyone that might potentially be watching on the VOD. Tomorrow, if nothing bad happens, I will be back, and we will start coloring Lisa. So yeah. Yeah, let's hope it turns out well. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.